Occasionally.
And it is 5. It's Thursday. We're live. I'm Joe Speaker. And guess what? Paul Crowley has arrived. Nice to have you back, Paul.
Yes, Paul, it's very nice to have you.
Come on, you guys don't miss me that
Yes,
much.
yes, we do. Yes, we
Sage
do.
is not as sagey without you here.
We're not a sagey? No,
They're not a sagey.
they get more time.
They have more
well,
time, but
A
you know,
piece of the whole is not here.
But that's a good point there. The Jewish boy knows what he's talking about, folks.
Thank you.
I want to thank Mike Pasquale, who sent us a nice letter. Thank you, Michael. He said the article, he has an article, and I have it right here. He pulled it from the Herald, and he thought it would make a good subject for our show. And even though I hadn't factored her in, guys, it is a great subject. And he has some nice things to say. He watches our show. So, Michael, thank you. And let me get to the paragraph that he's talking about. And he said, in effect, it has to do with the carbon tax, Paul. Is that the Green New Deal or whatever?
Right, yeah, right.
It's on that same line, right?
Yeah, and what he's saying is, you got to be careful. These liberals,
Right.
He called it the E word.
Right.
Environmental is the E word.
It winds up on your electric bill. You have to understand that your electric bill is going to go up to $100, $200 a month with these
Well,
people.
wait a second. Let me tell you what he had in the article. It says right here, he said that Beacon Hill Institute did a study, and the average Massachusetts household would see a bill increase of $755 in the very first year, and it jacks up to $1,200 thereafter.
Right.
I mean, that's a big piece of change,
Yeah. Right.
and you lose 20,000 jobs.
Right.
So, first of all, individually, it has a great impact on every household.
Yeah.
Secondly, the amount of money that translates to for the government to use is off the charts, and they'll just blow it. They don't even spend it wisely.
It'll
Really,
go into their
Paul?
pocket.
See, this is why he's back. We need a little truth. Now, let me get to Malcolm. You're the technical expert on the show because yours truly has a hard time finding delete. But my understanding is YouTube, now we are upgraded. This show, frankly speaking,
Yep.
everybody out there can watch it anytime, back editions, new editions on YouTube. Is that correct?
Right.
Yes.
How do they get there?
What you have to do is on your computer or your tablet, you have to put on an app for YouTube. You can get that through the Google Play Store. You can get it through Microsoft Store.
Okay.
And once you get the app,
Yeah.
then you hit the app and it will bring you to YouTube.
Right?
And then you can put into the search engine, like for this program, it's under Joseph Spina.
No, frankly speaking.
Actually, I tried that, and there's another one of me somewhere who happens to be a musician.
Right.
Not a very good one.
But this one,
you know,
this one, you put in Joseph Spina.
frankly
And
speaking.
no.
Right.
And what you do is you hit the enter, and it will bring up Joe Spina, frankly speaking.
I will.
And then what you do is you go down to the bottom. You have subscribe. You hit subscribe,
And that's it?
and then if you want to be notified whenever there's a new program coming on, you hit. It looks like a little bell. You hit that, and what it will do is it will send you a notification that there is a new program on.
But you have to have the app.
Right.
And
But
if
the
you
app
don't
is
have-
just the app is strictly a search engine.
Right.
I understand that, but if you don't have the app, you can't get it.
And you can go through the search engine of Firefox.
Okay.
Yeah, Safari.
So-
Just type in
Safari,
YouTube
yeah.
from your
Right.
Google
Right.
browser.
Right.
Exactly.
Now,
But I don't
But the
understand
thing is you want to have the app so that you can go immediately
And
to
that
it.
makes it so much easier for
Right.
and for
Well,
the
can we
older
put that-
population.
Let me put that graphic up one more time. There it goes. Frankly speaking on YouTube, www, you can do it by Facebook too. Facebook.com, frankly speaking, inland, scroll down to frankly speaking, and they can pump in and get to YouTube that way.
Right.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And then they can play thereafter.
So how come if you type in frankly speaking in the Google engine,
You'll
you
just
don't-
get the old frankly
yeah,
speaking
yeah,
shows
because
if you
there are
do
other
that.
frankly
You
speaking
have all
shows.
different
and other
programs
frequencies.
all over the
Oh,
country.
really? Okay. So
Yeah.
you get, Joe Spina is the key then. What if they put Paul Crowley in? What will happen?
Because Paul Crowley doesn't write the script.
If you put my name, you get me. You get me and Joe.
Speaking of
Yeah, really?
Speaking of things, Let's get to
You know,
Frankly Joe.
technical things are very difficult. Do you understand?
All right, listen.
Do you know, just to
let me
continue
hear
with this
this.
quickly, I know we have a lot. You know, the Bruins this week said that you can't buy tickets anymore. You have to have an app. You have to have a phone to buy a ticket. You can't get into a Bruins game.
That's profound.
You cannot buy. Think about that.
Yeah, think about that now
that.
calling manhole covers anymore.
Can I say
That's
one thing?
profound too, isn't
I
it?
wasn't planning on going to a Bruins game. So the hell with them.
That's right. What about manhole covers?
But what about the old people and the
You know
poor
about
people who
that?
don't have iPhones? You can't get.
Everybody has an iPhone.
Not
poor
necessarily.
people.
And those who don't
Yeah.
Smartphones.
can get one from their granddaughter.
Frankly, Joe, these guys are sidetracking on nonsense. Senator Brendan Creighton supports allowing state residents, imagine that, residents, to apply for standard driver's license regardless of immigration status. As it stands now, the Registry of Motor Vehicles can only issue driver's licenses to American citizens, U.S. citizens, or someone here like on a visa for lawful purpose, going to school or
Right.
whatever.
Green card.
Green card.
Currently, can you believe this? There's 250,000 quote-unquote illegals or undocumented, whichever terminology you want to use, folks living in Massachusetts.
Oh, it's much higher than that.
Yeah, but this is conservative. Yeah.
It's much higher.
Allowing all immigrants, notice this, all immigrants to obtain driver's licenses boosts the economy, argues Creighton.
How?
That's
Yeah.
see the word there? What's
How?
that word there?
I wanna know
Oh,
how.
What's it say there? Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I don't think that Brian
Furthermore,
Creighton,
let's finish it, then you guys can go crazy. Furthermore, says Creighton, this is good public policy, the economy, this is good for public safety, the economy, and it's morally the right thing to do.
Right.
Is it? Now you can speak.
No, it's
Go ahead, boys.
there's nothing to do with
they have
morality.
the driver's license, they're driving a car, they have no insurance, they're gonna hit you, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
How do you think these people, these illegals that are criminals are stopped when they're stopped because they don't have licenses but they do drive, and when they're stopped by the police, if you don't have a license, you can be arrested. If you just stopped for speeding, you can't be arrested. Speeding is not arrestable offenses, as most moving violations are not. It's only when you don't have a license you can be arrested, and that's how they're finding a lot of these criminals out.
So you're saying that this mechanism stops catching illegals? Is that
Of
what you're
course,
saying?
if you have
All
a
right, let me go one
license-
step further with you. Are you aware of the fact that 12 states and the District of Columbia allow
Right.
for
Right.
illegals
Right.
to have
Well,
licenses?
that's why the country's in a mess.
Okay, now, let me ask you, Malcolm, give me 3 states of the 12 that guaranteed allow illegals to have licenses. Give me 3 states.
Illinois,
I would have to say
California, and New
California
York.
is one.
Right off the get-go. California, Illinois, and New York for sure, right?
Right.
And every one of them is in the tubes, going down the tubes,
Yeah.
correct?
Right.
California
What's that
is
tell you?
tent city.
Tells you it's a bad idea, and we have a state senator coming up with a bad idea. For what purpose, Paul?
Yeah, for what purpose?
Well, whether
He's got 3 reasons. He puts up 3 reasons:
about
economic, morality, and what was the third one?
Public safety.
Public safety. I don't see how. First of all, I don't think that's why he's doing it. I think he's doing it to
Because what?
cater to his progressive left-wing
To
base.
Echo, Paul,
The
Echo is pushing this. That the Essex County Community, whatever the name of this, the left-wing group, Ms. Lopez, is that correct?
I don't know.
They don't even call, they never call anybody an illegal. It's either undocumented. Now they have a new word called resident.
Right.
All right, let's
Right.
throw that up there.
I love Brendan, but
Well,
I'll
wait a
tell you.
minute.
Well, go
Let's
ahead.
put this up there.
Right.
Driver's licenses for undocumented, And this is a direct quote. It's time to shatter negative myths dogging proposals to allow undocumented immigrants to obtain driver's licenses. State Senator Brendan Creighton. Now notice at the bottom,
Right.
illegal, undocumented, immigrant, resident. You can add all the terms you want.
There is no way in hell this is ever gonna pass.
Oh, it'll pass.
In Massachusetts?
in
Absolutely.
Massachusetts, it'll pass.
Right. It'll
Here's
The
the
thing is,
part
what-
that bothers me. It's the whole issue of the license being used to register to vote, and then these people aren't supposed to vote, right?
He's saying that that's a myth, Paul.
Well,
He's saying it's a
can you
myth,
can you
but you
stamp
just
right
said
on the
it's a
front of
myth.
it that it says illegal right on it so that people will know?
No.
Well,
Well, then we don't do it.
that's why they've gone to the enhanced ones with the star, like you. I think I don't know how many people here have done. I've done it. I have a star on my license. It's a star.
What does the star mean?
And the star
You are
means
a star.
starting next year, I can go on airplane flights. And if you don't have the star or you don't have a passport, you can't get on an airplane or get into a federal building.
It's tied into a federal system.
Right.
Well,
781.
actually, unfortunately, that's the way things have happened.
But as soon as they give the driver's licenses, those licenses will
Ridiculous.
obscure
This
the
guy, Brendan
ability for undocumented, resident, illegals,
You're
whatever, to
turning
actually vote.
illegals into legal status. You can't do that. That's like giving criminals a pass to the bank, the keys to the bank.
This guy Creighton should be run out of office.
I love Brendan. I know. I met his family, and he's got a great family. He's a great guy.
How
but
old
he's,
is he?
He's just a young guy. He's in his 30s, I believe.
Oh,
So what's the point you're making?
So he's an idiot.
My point, he's being controlled by the extreme
Well,
left wing.
He's pretty left wing all by himself.
I don't think he is, because I've talked to his family. I talked to his mother.
Well, let me
I was
put it
holding
this way.
signs with
Wait a
his
minute,
mother.
lives two doors
Time
down
out.
from me.
I'm not going to get into any crazy debate or whether a guy or it isn't. His policies are no good.
Terrible. It's terrible.
781-780-9460. That's our number here. Lynn Bitts. I mean, why are we discussing whether a person's family and the rest of it? We're interested in issues, not personalities. This is the big problem in our country. We turn around and we start calling people names as opposed to...
The problem with this country are the people that are being elected to office.
No question.
Yeah.
And the best thing I've read in the newspaper, which I very rarely read, is the 4 people that are having a problem with Donald
The
Trump.
squad.
Okay, the 4 women, every single area where they're from, people are going to run against them.
Yeah.
And what drives me crazy about Creighton is that
Why are we back on Creighton?
Because why is he pushing it? He's the one that's pushing
Paul
it.
told you why he's pushing it.
Because of the left
Political
crazies.
expediency,
Right,
that's all.
right.
It's got nothing to do with merit.
But the left wing didn't back him when he was running against Charlie Gallo. They were pushing Charlie Gallo. His pictures were all over the city.
Ralph, I'm not
telling
interested in any of that.
Yes.
It's,
Brendan
we're
Creighton
going
was the
into another
anointed
thing.
one.
We're going to do Lynn Bitts. We have a very packed show. We're going to move. First of all, the bridge delayed. Anybody know why? This is that one from Saugus.
I don't know why, but I got to tell you, they might as well just leave it the way it is because that bridge is solid. It'll probably
working
last
well.
50, 100 years all by itself.
It was supposed to be about 10 feet wider and a foot higher.
And look, I'm going to be speculating by saying this,
Yeah.
but I will anyway. I'll guarantee you it's the greenies who are all concerned about the impact on the conservation.
Perhaps. The second thing is up in Ward 6, there's 5 folks running. I know nothing. It's Don Castle, I know. Tindra Don, a new
Don.
name, a new
Yep.
face.
Yeah.
Dave Ellis, Jimmy Gonzalez, and Fred Hogan. So that's the rundown.
I think
Any comments?
Dun's
There
a
they are.
Cambodian, isn't she? Isn't she Cambodian? I think she's
Yeah, she's
Cambodian.
Cambodian.
She
And
doesn't
is.
look Jewish, I can assure
No,
you right
she's
now.
not Jewish.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
her brother actually works for me. I've met her. She's a nice girl. She used to work in Steve Walsh's office.
Right.
She understands the political stuff. She's a good constituent.
She's the one that has $17,000 in her campaign coffers, which is a lot.
Yeah, she raised a lot of money.
Yeah, she raised a lot of money.
So this is going to be, we'll be talking about this more. I don't know, I know Don, he's with these.
Don Castle's been around for a long time.
Dave used to be the Ward 6 council, he's on the Water Sewer Commission now.
Yeah.
I don't know Jimmy Gonzalez.
And Freddie's the current.
He was appointed though, basically. All right, he didn't earn it per se.
Well, he didn't get voted in, that's for sure.
That's right,
Yeah.
by the council. So it ought to be an interesting race. We have a whole array.
Yeah, it's good. So September 3rd is the primary,
Yeah.
and the top
And
2
then-
vote getters will advance to the final.
The two leading ones, right?
Yeah.
The third thing on the Lynn Bits is that they got a green light for a pot shop on Western Avenue, the first one in East Lynn. Hasn't happened yet, but apparently Losey and Starbot are happy about it, right? Or they're pushing it and it's coming out. It's supposed to be a boutique, whatever that means.
Yeah, it's across the street from the Gibbs gas station on Western Ave, and it's set back, and it's currently in a dilapidated old building. So on the plus side, it's going to improve the aesthetics of the
Is
area.
that by the Stop and Shop?
No.
All these
There were
units,
the Mobile and Gibbs are right on the gas station's right on the corner of Chestnut and Western.
Yeah.
I see
So-
little movement on all
Across
the
the street.
licenses they've given out. In the old item building, they're supposed to be putting one there. There's practically nothing being done in there.
Well, you talked about this a long time ago, Joe. Do you remember there was a medical marijuana one that was going to go on Western Ave, and it's going to go into the old upholstery store?
Right.
It was part of a 3-family.
They're
I
not in
talked
yet.
to that doctor. I saw him at a charity golf tournament I was at last month, and he said they were going to start work the following day, and that was 3 weeks ago. And I was over by there yesterday, and they haven't done anything yet. My guess is he doesn't know how to get it going or something. I don't know.
And the one in the old item building, not doing anything in there. Nothing.
Well, I don't think that's been approved yet. Has
Oh,
it?
I think it has been. I think so.
Greater Lynn Bits. This happens to do with Nahant, and Nahant, they're part of our constituency. And what happened is that this is Creighton again, along with Capano, correct? The two of them are putting together, co-authoring a bill to amend what is known as the Dover Amendment. Now, I'm not familiar, but apparently back in 1950, an amendment was placed onto the state constitution which said that if you happen to be a religious institution or an educational institution, that local ordinances did not apply.
Right.
Is that correct?
You could do things by right.
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 If that's in the Constitution, it's going to be hard to change. I thought it was just a law,
What was that?
Mass General Law. Is that a Mass General Law, or is that part of the Constitution?
That's Mass General Law.
Well,
Which
that-
is the Constitution.
No, the Mass General Law is not the
It's
Constitution.
an amendment
No,
to
no,
what? An amendment to the Constitution, isn't it?
I don't know.
Either way, it doesn't matter, it's a law.
It's a big difference. If it's the Constitution,
It's
it takes
harder to get
a
it
lot
fixed.
to change.
But the issue is they're making a change in order to accommodate those individuals who do not want Northeastern to have a research facility, expand their research facility in the heart, and what used to be bunkers for World War II, right?
Right.
Yep, the Nike site.
So what is the big deal? I mean, I would think that they should welcome Northeastern University.
It's NIMBY, you know, they're not in my backyard. They don't want anything really there except people with homes there and families.
Then
That's all they want.
why don't those two individuals who come from Lynn push that have that thing in Lynn?
Why don't we have it in Lynn? We got
They
plenty of
actually
room.
have tried to do it, but Northeastern isn't interested.
Not interested. And rightfully so,
It
because,
probably makes sense because of the
right.
the island status.
Yeah,
and
the
lots
geographic
of water
location.
and, you know.
But isn't this something that at least should have had a discussion as opposed to 50 people beating drums?
Well, this is that same old thing you always talk about. It's the organized minority gets everything they want. You know?
Yeah. Sadly, and this is for you, my Jewish friend, sadly, anti-Semitism is growing phenomenon yet again. Rabbi David Meyer at the Marblehead Temple, apparently there was some graffiti up there. Are you familiar with it?
Well, you know, I know Rabbi Meyer, but that's neither here nor there. Anti-Semitism has been here since the day the world started. It'll be here when the world ends. There's nothing new. It's nothing new.
But let me
okay?
ask you this, why is there such an imbalance? For example, we all know there's been a big dust-up, you folks out there know, between four people known as the Squad now, and the President of the United States, over,
The occupant.
Yeah.
and the Squad has frankly been very anti-Semitic.
That's ignorance at its highest level, but I don't take them really seriously because they're powerless. The thing that upsets me is who put these people in office in the first place. I don't blame them. I blame the people who voted for them.
And the problem is going to be getting them out of office because Omar won with 89% of the vote. Presley was unopposed. She's the one from Somerville. AOL, 78%.
Unopposed in
and
the final.
Talib,
Ralph,
85%.
But that's in the finals because
In the
they're
finals, in the
in
finals.
decidedly
He
liberal
defeated a
district.
sitting congressman
Because
who had been the mayor of
Right.
the Somerville.
because he didn't take her seriously. He's
Exactly.
he's taken her seriously. Now, I'm almost positive that the 3 out of the 4,
And
not all of
the
them,
guy
will
that
not be back
the
in
guy
office
that
again.
AOC beat in New York, his name was Crowley, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Joe Crowley.
that
Joe
you?
Crowley, yeah. And he was actually endorsed by Hillary Clinton, if you can believe it. He was an establishment Democrat, been around for 100 years. You can always count on his vote, you know, that kind of thing. And he got knocked out.
Right.
And they're going to be maybe not getting him back, but they're going to try to get somebody back who's going to toe the line, as they
There's
say.
at least
They've
4
got a
people
Republican
going for her
candidate
office right
already
now.
from
But-
Jamaica.
But he, same with Capano, was it Capano, the guy in Somerville?
Yeah.
Those two happen to be white males, and they were defeated by women of color.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's because the demographics in Somerville and in the Bronx have changed radically. That's what it's all
changed.
about.
Even with the demographics, it doesn't matter. You don't want these people in office, okay?
Right.
Some Democrats.
I
But
think
you know-
Presley won by 50% of the vote against Capuano, didn't you? 15%.
Yeah, it was a very low turnout, and the same in New York.
Very low turnout.
The important thing to understand here is that these people are more valuable to the Republicans than they are to the Democrats.
Of course they are.
So, you know, don't be in any hurry to get rid of them because the internal troubles that they're causing for the Democrat Party are, I think, playing right into Trump's hand.
Right.
Let's get to the meat of our show. Racist. Here's a terrific quote by Kimberly Strassel, who writes for the Wall Street Journal. She said, I do wonder if liberals understand that the real harm of diluting the word racist to the point of little or no meaning. I found that to be profound.
I've been saying
Absolutely.
that all along. You say it enough when it really doesn't apply, and then nobody can ever really understand.
doesn't mean anything anymore.
It no longer matters.
What about you?
I don't even know what the definition is.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
It's the decisions about an individual that you make are based on the color of their skin.
You know,
That's racist.
I happen to see on TV, because they've been playing it a lot, about on Staten Island, that big black man who got choked to death.
Yes.
Now, I'm not the biggest fan of these type of people, but in this particular case, how the hell could they let this guy not go to trial?
The cop?
The cop.
Yeah.
At the very least, he should lose his job.
I'm not.
At the very least.
I
And
saw
this
it.
guy, the mayor, what a moron.
Tabasco?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a chokehold or not. I've seen it. Has anyone seen him actually choke him? I've seen it several times.
The guy is
Have
saying
you seen
10
that?
times, I can't breathe.
I know.
That's good enough for me.
But I didn't see the policeman with his hand over his throat. I didn't see that. I still haven't
Well,
seen
let's
it.
get to Exhibit 1 of You're a Racist. Let's put that up if we can. And here's the dynamic 4. America stinks. The Holocaust gives me a clammy feeling. America stinks.
Calming,
Jewish
calming
money controls Congress. America stinks. U.S. has concentration, and on and on. If you hate America, leave. And what happens?
He's a racist.
You're un-American. You're a racist. Here's a good one. This is Exhibit 2.
Moderate, crazy, radical. I love that.
Okay? Leads us to the poll. And this is Moulton, our representative, always jumps in. The president is a racist, Moulton told the item this past Monday. So the poll question is he? Is the president a racist, as Moulton has proclaimed? On number 781-780-9460.
The notion that you cannot say anything to anybody of color, or if you say anything that opposes somebody of color, that it's because they're of color, is not a fair statement. It's just not.
But a lot of times they say racism when they're talking about, if you're talking about Islam. Islam's religion, not race, right? And they'll call you a racist. They'll call you all kinds of things. Let's put the squad up, by the way. Speaking of the squad, here they are. Trump asked, simple question, when will the radical left congresswoman apologize to our country, the people of Israel, and even to the office of the president for foul language that they used and the terrible things they have said? This is what he did. They went crazy. They went crazy in the press. Does he have a point?
Yes.
Of course.
And what did they do?
They made him out to be a fool.
And a racist. So if we throw up a little clip from what the squad said, and this has been edited to their favor, by the way. If we have that video clip, Pedro, I don't.
As we all know, the recent tweets and words from the president are simply a continuation of his racist and xenophobic playbook. We cannot allow these hateful actions by the president to distract us from the critical work to hold this administration accountable to the inhumane conditions at the border that is separating children from their loved ones and caging them up in illegal, horrific conditions.
I encourage the American people and all of us in this room and beyond to not take the bait. This is a disruptive distraction from the issues of care, concern, and consequence to the American people. That we were sent here with a decisive mandate from our constituents to work on.
This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden. He would love nothing more than to divide our country based on race, religion, gender, orientation, or immigration status. Because this is the only way he knows he can prevent the solidarity of us working together across all of our differences.
Weak minds and leaders challenge loyalty to our country in order to avoid challenging and debating the policy. This president does not know how to make the argument that Americans do not deserve health care. He does not know how to defend his policies. So what he does is attack us personally. And that is what this is all about. He can't look a child in the face And he can't look all Americans in the face and justify why this country is throwing them in cages. So instead, he tells us that I should go back to the great borough of the Bronx and make it better. And that's what I'm here to do.
know and the devil you
Malcolm,
don't
we're
know.
back. One of the problems with this, I'm sorry if you didn't hear it, folks, neither could we, but you got a glimpse of who they are. And by the way, I want to mention something. Moulton is being challenged by a woman from Ward 2 in Salem. I think her name is Lisa Peterson or Pressman or something like that.
Yeah,
So we'll
Peterson.
see how that goes.
What about
and
Tierney? Is he going to make a run for
I
it?
think Tierney's going to jump in there, don't you, Paul?
I'm not really sure. I mean, he'll be strategic about it. If he feels like he can win, he will. You know.
He's
Well,
going
look
to
at it this
lay
way,
low
if
for a
4 or 5
while.
people running that race, he gets 30% of the vote. He's got 30% in his pocket.
Well, Moulton won by 60% the last time against extremely weak people, so he's vulnerable. Usually, if you're very strong, you're in the 75% or more.
The people that are running, they're all Democrats, right?
Right.
So it's a primary.
But I'm saying it's a prime, but that makes him weak. I'm talking about Republicans. When he ran in the final, that makes you weak when you only win by 10%.
Yep.
Yeah, but what I'm
Right?
saying,
Yep.
but what I'm saying to you is, if a number of people jump into that race and they split the vote, Tierney has enough of a base vote to finish on top.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't need 50%.
It depends on
plus
what
one.
the third person does, who
Exactly,
they take
third
the
or
vote
fourth.
from. Right.
Yeah, depends on what the third or fourth.
You don't
person
need
is.
50%, do you? No, you don't have to. No.
So before we get to the last graphic, folks, I want to share a little story with you. The other day I was on my way to Farmer John's. They have great soup at Farmer John's. So I went 114, and I said, well, I got to stop by Market Basket because they have this Norwegian, water that I love, and it's $3.99. It was $4.99 up in Salem. Same Market Basket in Salem, $4.99. Middleton, $3.99. So I go in there.
Zone pricing.
Anyway, I do a little shopping at Market Basket with my $3.99 special water from Norway, artesian water, whatever it is. Anyways, and they'll call me racist for buying
And you drove 8 miles to save $1. Okay, I understand.
No, I was on my
right.
way, you're not listening, Ralph, it's your problem, you're not listening.
Perfect sense.
I was on my way to Farmer Brown's, and that was on the way to Farmer Brown's, okay? Because I want to get my soup at Farmer Brown's, which has very good soup and salad. So, being svelte again, I want to be like you, Paul, I want to grow up to be handsome like you. So, in any case, after I do my little shopping with my sweet dog Luigi, I go home and I unpack everything, and I bought this additive, because I don't particularly like water, but if you add a little squeeze a little lemon and lime in there, you know, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
So I get home all prepared, I put everything away, and my soups from Farmer Brown's.
Right.
I open up the case of water, and guess what? There was no water in any of the bottles. None.
You couldn't tell when you lifted it up?
That's exactly what someone asked me, and I hadn't thought about it. No,
I was just thinking about that myself.
yeah, I mean,
Water's
and
heavy.
everybody's asked me the same question, and I was in a rush, or I felt extremely strong, one or the other. You know, now, look, folks, for an old guy, see, definition.
Or maybe you
He
stopped
thought
off
his
at the pot
workouts
shop.
were working.
No, but here's the thing. Now I have to go, I'm aggravated. So now I have to find the slip, right?
Yeah.
Sales slip, which I do, luckily. And I fly up to the Salem one, and I exchanged it. They were nice about that.
And they believe that
They believe that you walked
You
out of
did
there
drink
with
the water.
empty bottles? How did they, I don't get that. Were the caps on it?
Yeah,
But he didn't break the seal.
no water. These are glass,
Right.
so they're kind of
Oh,
heavy.
they're
I could just picture if I was doing this, I'd walk up and I'd
Yeah.
grab a case of it and it would be so light. I said, maybe I should get a couple more.
Oh, what you got was the freeze-dried water.
What can I
Yeah,
tell
just
you?
add water.
I should have used Lynn tap water.
Maybe that's the kind you put in your microwave. I think you should have put it in the microwave. Maybe then the water expand, then you pull it
I don't know
out.
what
That's the
happened.
one.
All I
Next time
know
put it in the
is-
microwave.
Oh, what the hell
I know
happened?
it.
Well, we're going to get
The
it back.
Democratic immigration policy, if we can throw that up there, let the boys, the sages, and Paul comment on that. Take a look at it, absorb it. They're simply asylum seekers. They should let them in, huh?
Right.
You think? What do you think? This, I'm upgrading your cartoonist, with my stuff.
Well, that's, It's a little exaggerated, right? I mean,
So, yeah,
Does Avram's cartoonist do these, really?
we're gonna have a cartoon, an original from next week, aren't we?
Yeah, I believe, yes.
Yeah, but, you know, when they say a picture tells 1,000 words, they're pretty accurate on that one,
Yeah.
don't they? Asylum seekers, let them in.
Yeah,
You know where they're coming from now, folks? They're coming from India and they're coming from Africa. You know how they're coming in? They're going to Ecuador.
Right.
And they're going from there and they're working their way in. So now, he comes up with a genius idea, the guy that everybody's calling a racist.
you can't apply for asylum in the U.S. unless you apply in the country that you were in before you do.
Isn't that a great idea?
I do, I agree.
Yeah.
I think he could do that as a regulation.
That may get shot down too as unconstitutional.
Of course.
So, but if you think about it, so the judges that have to see these people,
Right.
you know, if they're following the rules, they will say, you're not eligible. It's an easy no.
We got
Instead of-
14
Instead of waiting 3 years before they.
We got
get to-
14 judges now, conservative judges out of 29 in the Ninth Circuit, so we need one more and we can change a lot of these things too, that are being
Before we
passed from
worry-
the Ninth Circuit.
What about the great article that Ralph came up with from the item? And I think all of us should be talking about this. And we can't put it up on the screen, but I'm going to read part of it to you folks. And then we're going to spend pretty much the balance of the time discussing it because this is, I find it offensive, frankly.
I'm so tired of that word.
Here we go. The current occupant, and this was, Ralph, give us the background on this, will you?
Yeah, well, this was by this woman, Charles, who is the news editor of the item. I've never heard of her before. I think she used to work for the Globe at one time. And she wrote it, she's a black woman, and she wrote in about racism, about how Trump is a racist. And all the people that formed this country stole land,
Yeah, we
slaughtered the
don't need a
inhabitants.
synopsis. Just give us the genesis. You saw this article?
I saw the article on Facebook actually first,
Okay.
and then I pulled
And
copies
so
of it from
but it was in the
from-
item as an editorial?
as an editor, as an op-ed,
today?
right?
Yeah,
right.
an
Op-ed,
opinion.
right.
All right, let me read some of this to you folks.
She's a black woman.
Black woman who's the editor, an editor.
Okay.
All right.
The current occupant, now here is exactly what was written. The current occupant of the White House is a racist, definitive, in caps, right?
Right.
All right.
Written by a black woman.
It doesn't matter, does it?
Yes, it does.
Why?
Yeah, because she's a racist then.
Because she's a racist. So if you pardon the pun, she's calling a spade a spade.
Let me ask you this. Didn't the four musketeers, otherwise known as the squad, did they not call the speaker a racist?
Yes.
Right.
One of them, AOC did.
Yeah.
They all did. They all
No, I
jumped
think
on
there was
board.
a
Yeah, they all
No,
did.
she was the first one to call her
So
that.
they're using this word racist pretty casually, right? So, by the way, folks, in case you're interested, white is the absence of color, right?
Yeah.
So a white person has no color whatsoever, or anything white.
Who says that?
That's a scientific fact.
Yeah, well,
White is the absence of color.
right.
Black is all color.
all color.
So,
How the hell you like that?
you didn't know this? You learned stuff on this show, you know.
If
Jewish
that's
boy.
true, there isn't a white man here, right?
That's right.
No, there isn't,
Well,
because all of us
well,
have
Joe's
color.
Italian, so
I
he's
think
not white
that-
anyway.
So that's maybe to your point that these words get used too loosely.
Yeah, they have no
Including
meaning.
racism? Right.
They've completely perverted language,
Yeah.
which is precisely what Orwell was talking about.
When you go in to buy a quart of paint and the guy says, what color do you want? Say, I want white. You're going to say, that's not a color?
It's the absence of color.
Right. But they
There's
should,
no
they should
color.
be
White
talking
has
about
no color.
Caucasians because we're Caucasians, not
What does that
white.
mean, Ralph?
That means that's one of the 5 races in the world.
Yeah, but where? Why?
Because of
it's
bone structure, it has nothing to do with
How
color.
about the fact
According
that
to
it
the
has to do
Indians,
with
we're
region?
pale-faced.
What?
It has to
Right?
do with
We're
geographic
pale-faced.
region.
Well, that's where they
The
are. but
Caucasus Mountains, which is
right.
on the border of the
Right,
Black
right,
Sea
right,
and the
right,
Caspian
right,
Sea,
right.
is considered
Right.
the place from which
Right,
people
right,
of your
right,
complexion
right,
originated from.
Why do they call it the Black Sea? That's racist right there.
In itself, there's the White Sea, and there's the Yellow Sea and the Red Sea too.
But
Okay.
Armenians have darker skins, but they're
They
definitely
weren't considered
Caucasian.
Caucasians until 1917 when
Oh,
they tried to get into this country. The Supreme Court had a rule on that. Did
That's
you know
true.
that?
That's true.
Okay. Now, the question becomes, this is a play of terms all of the time, folks. Speaking of Armenia, that happens to be what Mount Atarak is, and that's where Noah's Ark landed.
That's right.
They're the first Christian nation in the world, Ralph, the Armenians.
The-
They found God early. So, Well, not
Armenians
too
are
early.
Christians, they are.
Getting back to this article, since we're far afield, speaking of Trump, he's appealing to and stroking white fear, whatever that means, that is unequal, unearned, will be taken from them. The country, speaking of the United States, now listen to this. This is the part that gets me. This country was, the United States, built on stealing land, or by stealing land, slaughtering its inhabitants, stealing people, forcing them to unpaid labor while destroying their language, their family structure, their hopes and dreams. This country stole from Japanese Americans and put their families in concentration camps, but didn't consider German Americans capable of treason. This country made laws to keep people from different ethnic groups from owning land, getting a good education, bettering themselves, or even intermarrying. And this country also turned away immigrants fleeing the Holocaust, sending them back across the sea to die. How do you like that one?
We shouldn't even be allowed to be a country.
Right.
Yeah.
This country has,
Paul, my parents came to this, my father came to this country in 1912. An immigrant, couldn't speak a word of English. He shined his shoes at the people on Beacon Hill. His great-granddaughter lives on Beacon Hill. That's the American dream.
This country has given
yeah.
freedom to
Very good
more
point.
people that have come over to this country than any other country ever has or will do. We've provided freedom through wars. Our blood was spread all over the world so everybody can be free. And as far as the blacks are concerned, hundreds of thousands of white people died so that blacks can be free. And white people
That's during the
started
Civil War.
13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. It was white people who put those amendments into play.
But here's what I'm more interested in. Let's get to the historical facts,
Okay.
okay? Now, the statement made, when people try to say stuff is fact, make sure they're facts.
Yes.
Right.
So, folks, when people tell you something, just because they tell you something doesn't mean it's factual. The point here being that, and here's the implication, they didn't consider German Americans capable of treason. So what she's saying is they put Japanese in internment camps, even though they were Americans,
Yeah.
right? Because we're at war with Japan.
Right.
But they didn't do it,
Right.
she's suggesting,
Right.
to the Germans because guess what? Germans were Caucasians.
Right.
Well, I hate to tell you, so were Italians
Right.
against, both Germans and Italians were put in
Right.
concentration camps during World
That's
War II.
right.
That's factual.
Right.
Okay? They
Right.
came to my house and took our radios because we might
Right.
try to connect with some Japanese submarines.
Did they really?
Well,
Yes, they did.
Well, I think that was right, though. The Italians, boy, I don't take their radios. I think they should.
Well, so, at the same time, they had the air raid sirens and,
Right.
and taking all these precautions to prevent against an invasion, right? I mean,
Right.
so look, they may have
Makes
gone
sense.
overboard, but they were,
Yeah, but you have to
it was
understand.
existential threat.
They're mad at the wrong people. If
Right.
the Japanese people who were incarcerated during World War II should be mad at anybody, they should be mad at their own Japanese
Right.
government who bombed Pearl Harbor.
Do you know why the Japanese were interned? There were three important reasons. Pearl Harbor was one because they know that the Japanese Americans in Hawaii mapped out where all the ships were. That's why there was such destruction. They know that for a fact. They had the Dragon Society in the United States and Brazil that engaged in espionage and against military installations, and especially in Brazil. They blew up several military installations in Brazil. And that same society, Japanese society, was in the United States. And also, tens of thousands of Japanese Americans renewed their dual citizenship, and they had to go all the way from California, where most of them were, all the way to Washington, to renew their dual citizenship, and that made the United States very, very nervous.
Rightfully
and that's
so.
why we put them in. And,
You know why we went to, Ralph, here's the simple fact. The simple fact is that the Japanese were overcrowded, and they have no resources. So they had to expand in order to survive.
Right.
They marched into Manchuria because Manchuria had resources, iron ore and coal.
Right.
They had to go into Indonesia to get oil and supplies.
Right.
So they had what they call the Asian Prosperity Zone.
Right.
The United States looked at China and looked at that region as the extension of manifest destiny. So we came in collision with the Japanese, okay? Japanese said nothing. So consequently, what happened? Mike, on the phone? I'm sorry, Mike. Mike?
Mike,
7-second delay.
Hello?
7-second delay.
Yeah, Joe, you there?
Yeah, we're here. How are you?
Yeah, the primary reason, yes, good,
Can you hear
that
okay?
the Germans were not put into any type of concentration camps is the Germans were the biggest ethnic group in the country. There were much more Germans than there were Italians and Japanese.
I believe that's true, Mike. I think that is true. I believe
What
it's true.
what was the point?
He said that the Germans were
And
there were more Germans in
In
this country.
concentration camp.
No,
Right.
there were more Germans in the country
Oh,
than
yeah, at
any
that time.
one
Ethnic
ethnic
group.
group.
Right. He's still.
Yes, they were the number one ethnic group, and Italians were number two.
Mike,
Mike, you still there?
Mike,
Yeah. Yeah, that's accurate at that
I
time.
believe at that time, not now, but
So
the group
but-
now is Canadians. Actually, more Canadians in the United States than anything else.
Really?
Oh, excuse me, in New England anyway. I'm sorry, in New England.
So, anyway, let me get back to the history on this one here. Did the United States turn away Holocaust victims?
No question about it. No question
So
about it.
that's accurate,
But
right?
that's just the St.
Well,
the St. Louis.
Morgenthau
It's one ship
was
though,
the
the St. Louis.
Secretary of State at the time went into Roosevelt's office and pleaded with him. He says, and he showed him the pictures. He
Yeah.
showed the pictures of the concentration camp. He didn't do it.
That's true.
He
They
didn't
wanted him to bomb the trains, and we just didn't have the capacity to do it because we had to bomb the factories.
Wait a minute. Well, the question is, did the United States refuse to take Holocaust survivors? And the answer is, yes, they
Yes,
did.
that's
That's
true.
what
Forget about bombing factories.
and
We
what
bombed
happened-
Dresden
And
unnecessarily.
what happened was the majority of them who couldn't get in, who tried to get in, went to South America. There's
That's
huge
right.
enclaves of Jewish people throughout South America.
And that's when the Balfour in 1948,
Yeah.
Israel was
Yeah.
established.
Yeah. Right.
Very few ports they were floating around on ships, weren't they?
Yeah.
And
Right.
Italy did take them.
Italy
Thank
took-
you.
And the Pope protected them too, and hit them.
Yes, he did.
Right, Avram?
Yes and no.
Well, we'll go to the other one. So you got to get your facts straight before you start writing some of this stuff. Here's another part. This is current. Flips all over the place. I mean, we have brown babies. Notice brown, suffering amid filth and squalor in cages. The people who can dismissively turn away because only citizens have right. That's referring to what's happening at the border, correct?
Yep.
Which is
Yeah.
not cages. And by the way, that policy was instituted by Barack Obama.
Right,
Yep.
but that doesn't matter. The only fact that matters to these folks that write this drivel is that it's happening on Trump's watch. So they
They're blaming him.
overstate it, they exaggerate it. All they want to do is make him look bad because they don't agree with his policies.
Are we supposed to take articles like this and critique them in order to try to gin some truth out of them or not?
Yeah, of course we are.
Okay.
That's what
But
frankly
so-
speaking is all
Yeah.
about.
But
Exactly.
Telling the
everyone has
truth.
rights when they enter the country. Everyone has rights in this country, according to the Supreme Court. You don't
So-
have to be a citizen to have rights.
So can I, I'm just going to bring
Go
up a
ahead.
point. This is a little bit off topic, but I just want to bring it up because it's really been gnawing at me. So we're talking about open borders and letting all these folks in, and then there's a big fight over whether we should let them or not, and all this kind of stuff. And at the same time, the same people who are saying, let them all in, let them all in, let them all in, are the ones that are screaming that we don't have enough housing. Huh?
Well, they're allowing them, Paul, in Austin, Texas, to sleep anywhere. You
Yeah.
can tent up anywhere.
So, and what made me think of this is I heard a commentary about California. So
Yeah.
California has taken in the past year or something, over 1 million people from south of the border, okay?
That's right.
Over 1 million people. And the homeless crisis in California is at biblical proportions.
Yeah, and so was it the health problem.
So, okay, and we can talk about that too, but my only point is, how can you say, just keep them coming, keep them coming, keep them coming, and not be concerned about, and still be concerned about the housing problem, and not really be concerned?
Because it's all about power, Paul. And the people that want them to come want to maintain power. Your Democratic Party cannot exist without an underclass. Impossible. because it makes no sense.
That is the Democratic Party, the underclass.
Is the underclass, exactly.
And all the diseases that are breaking out in California. Typhoid is coming back.
So
Typhoid
can I
is
just
there?
say that the Democrat Party is the underclass, but it's not represented by the underclass.
What are you talking about?
It's represented by the elite.
It's represented by the elite, thank you.
But the elite class are the overseers of the plantation.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Well, we
They might as
understand.
well be slave owners.
Yeah,
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. The difference is that they use the heroin is the welfare state.
Right.
The Romans did the same thing. This is nothing new. The Romans had the Colosseum. They gave out free bread in the baths. Same difference.
What's very interesting is the timing of it all. This all took place 2 seconds after the Democrats had those two debates. One night, the next night, then all of a sudden now they're all down there because they know they can't beat Trump.
Right.
They're trying to come up with every bloody thing they possibly can to throw it into his face.
Right, because their policies suck.
They have no policies.
What just came out today that drove them crazy? They had tapes of Michael Cohen, who effectively said, I know he didn't do this, but I'm going to try to get the money because it will hurt him in the campaign, even though he didn't do it.
Right.
They got him on tape saying
Right,
that.
right.
So that exonerates him on that payoff deal, right?
And then they put it, the headline on it is that the charges.
What's going to be the biggest scoop of the year is next week when he testifies, Mueller, okay?
Yeah.
And they ask him, why did you let Jeffrey Epstein off the hook?
Exactly. He
Why,
did.
why did you tell the district attorney of New York, let him pass?
No, the district attorney of Florida.
Excuse me.
Right.
Why did you let him pass?
Because he wanted Bear Stearns. That's what he claims.
He's going to have to explain a lot, okay?
Exactly.
And by the time
That's
he's
why he
through
took a pass.
by the time he's through explaining, the whole report that he spent 2 years on that cost $50 million is going to be used for toilet paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Mueller's testimony or his
And he may even end up in jail.
He may not testify.
well, he got a 1 week delay because what they want to do is they want to choreograph his testimony, and also they are going to have him scripted.
Right.
Let me be
Not when the
conspiratorial.
Republicans speak, because they don't know what the
Let me be
Republicans are.
conspiratorial, which I am anyhow. Isn't it interesting that the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing broke just as Mueller was going to testify?
Yeah.
You think that was an accident?
Hell no. Not-
So
There
who-
are no accidents.
So who wanted that out?
The puppeteer,
Who?
Trump.
Okay.
What they don't realize is that Trump is playing them all. You think, what happened to his numbers when he went up against the Fabulous Four?
Went up.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, as much as they try to assail him, his numbers
Can you
went up.
imagine if he was getting fair treatment in the press? He'd have like 75%
And the thing
approval.
of it is, you keep telling me that he doesn't have a chance. Joe Biden is leading the pack by a lot.
He is, and he can't win.
He's not going to win, but he's going to get the nomination.
But see,
Perhaps.
the
They told
aggregate,
me.
aggregate numbers don't mean anything right now. You have to go by the margin. That's how you become a president. You have to go by county by county in the states that count. The Minnesotas, the Michigans, the Florida.
So what are you telling me?
Wait till they debate again next month.
In other words, when you talk about who's going to be the next president, you can't talk about aggregate numbers, 47% to 44%. It
So
doesn't
you're
mean
telling me-
anything. It means nothing. You
So
have
the
to go,
electoral college is what counts. doesn't it?
absolutely, and you only have to go to
So
those
who
states
wants to
that
get rid of
count.
the electoral college?
The
Democrats.
Democrats.
Because it's-
Because they can get all the illegal votes out of
right,
California
right.
to skew the result.
Right.
If you were to take California and take them off the equation,
Right.
Trump won the popular vote by several million. Do you know that?
Yes.
California alone, the margins would run up.
And how many
And
of those votes in
most of them
California?
were probably illegal.
Right.
All of
Yeah.
them probably were.
In Orange County, there's so many illegal votes. It's ridiculous. That's when the Democrats pick up 4 seats in Orange County, and that's where Bob Dornan lost to Sanchez years ago. I keep talking about that, and he lost. And the House found that 5,000 were non-citizens that voted. They ran out of money, and he lost by
That
8,000.
bottom line is-
the bottom line is that Sanchez has been in for 9 terms now since then.
That's right.
So
what you're telling me is,
this could be irrevocable.
so is Boss Tweed alive and well in American politics?
Absolutely.
Forget the Russians.
Forget.
That's a lot of, that's noise. By the way, the Chinese, they should worry about.
So
Yeah.
I am less worried about any foreign interference than I am about the
Fraud.
the indigenous interference.
And where does this take place, Paul? Is it in rural America, suburban America? Is there-
Urban.
Exactly.
It's all the metropolises.
Because it's much harder to control.
If you look at the
There's
map,
too many people involved.
If you look at the map of where Trump won, it's the most amazing thing. You have the red and the blue. The whole map is red except these little dots of blue.
On both-
Pittsburgh, Boston, New York, Los Angeles.
Okay, so what's that tell you?
Well, it tells me
So
that.
where do the folks that rely on the plantation,
Right.
where do they live?
They rely
Inner
on all
city.
the
Plantation.
social services. That's why all the blue people are in the city
So
because they have social
when you have
services.
folks who cater to you don't have to keep
Right.
power,
Right.
they're gonna run and try to amend the Dover Amendment, aren't they?
Right.
They're gonna try to give driver's license to their constituency, aren't
Right,
they?
right,
Or their
right.
future constituency.
Make 'em
Do
all
they
happy.
care? Do they care about whether you have a picket fence and you brush your teeth? Or you have community values? Do they care about that?
No, they
No,
don't care
exactly
about
not. So if you want to pitch a tent in San Fran or LA or Austin, Texas, now, by the way, Austin, Texas is like Cambridge, Mass.
Right.
You can. You can have
Democratic,
syringes.
yeah.
You can. And you want to know what's happening? This is how bad it is in San Fran. Who's that doctor that's on TV? He's a Jewish boy like you.
Dr.
Good-looking
Oz?
guy. I think his name's Pinsky or something like that.
I don't know.
He was on, Paul, listen to this. They're urinating and defecating so much in San Fran that it's polluting the beaches and the water supply
Right.
and causing major health problems
They
Okay.
have typhoid there. Typhoid.
because there's no sanitation.
right.
So I was in Boston last week. I had to drive through Boston. I went down Mass Ave and Melnia Cass Boulevard
Yeah.
over by Boston Medical Center and Suffolk County House of Correction and all that kind of
I
stuff.
know that area very well.
They call it methadone mile.
That's right.
All right? And I was aghast at what I saw. Let me tell you, I drove down a street where there were hundreds, and I don't mean like 102, I mean like 2, 3, 4, 500 people living on the streets. They were shooting up, they were defecating, they were basically living on the sidewalks, just right, piles of them.
Okay. And
And
why?
nobody doing anything
why?
about
You
it.
can see
what are
when I
they
go
gonna-
to Boston Medical Center, I see them all the time.
What
As
are they
soon as you
gonna
come
do?
off the highway, you see
What are they
them.
going to do with them?
Something. I don't understand.
Something.
It doesn't. I don't hear any discussion about it though.
Of course you know.
Why aren't we talking about it?
Oh,
I mean,
because-
these people. There's probably 20 to 50 heroin overdoses a day on
You want to hear
methadone.
the irony of it all, Paul? You're not going to believe this. During the Trump administration, actual opioids overdoses have gone down. So the problem you're talking about is actually going in the opposite direction.
The deaths are going down, but that's
Right,
because
the
there's
deaths.
there's greater knowledge around what to do
That's
when
right.
they have the
That's
overdose.
right.
That's all that
Narcan.
is. It's
Okay.
not that they've.
Deinstitutionalization had contributed a lot to this.
Look who runs the city of Boston.
Yeah, he's busy chasing the MBTA for
And look
better
at who
trolleys.
the police commissioner is of the city of Boston. Ever heard him speak?
No, I haven't.
Unbelievable.
How about the Suffolk County District Attorney? You know this woman,
Oh,
right?
Oh, yeah.
please. She's the one that wants let everybody go. Rollins, her name is Rollins. She actually, there was a woman that was beaten up and is permanently injured, and she let the man, the perpetrator, go with time served. I think it was maybe a year in jail, whatever it was. He hurt this woman so bad that she's permanently disabled for life, and Rollins let him go with time served. You know, that's called mayhem.
Let me
And-
ask you a
and
question.
Mayhem
The guy
used
that
to
she
be a
let
capital
go
crime.
is the guy that she let go. Is
Yeah.
he from where? Is he a black man?
I believe so.
Yeah, you see that
believe
they all. That's what it is.
Look,
This is reverse discrimination.
It really is.
This
Look.
is like spitting in our
Look,
face
if
for all
you-
the years they think we bothered them.
why don't you take a look at who
Okay.
the district attorneys are across the nation now? You know, George Soros is no dum-dum. He turned around, he went after all secretaries of state.
Right,
And the reason why he went after the secretaries of state, because they control elections.
right.
Now, they went after academia too, correct?
Yeah.
Professorship. What else? What's else important? DAs, and district attorneys and U.S. attorneys and stuff like that. And if you take a look, the gal that just got elected in Ocasio's district, a woman of color, right, with 11% of the vote, Paul, because no contest in the Democratic, the Republican. These folks, and the same thing, what about that woman in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
She let the guy off the hook.
Yeah.
Fox. If you what about the gal that was down there in Baltimore? Remember when they had the big problem down in Baltimore?
Yeah.
She went to BC.
The mayor and the DA were.
All right.
Yeah,
If you take a look, there's a whole bunch of folks who are of a distinct subgroup that have taken over, and it's almost like payback.
That's what it is.
I know it is,
Right.
but nobody wants to talk about it because they're afraid to. And so Donald Trump says it, and they call him a racist.
I think at the next major election that we're going to have all these people are going to be out.
No, I don't think so.
I've been praying for that for years,
I'm telling
I mean,
you.
I told Joe this before the election. I think Donald Trump's a pompous ass.
He is, but he's a good president.
But he's doing his job.
He's doing the things that nobody else will do.
Right.
The stock market is over 27,000. That's unbelievable. Okay? Unemployment, people can't find people to hire.
Right. I know. I go through that
And
every day.
when these black DAs do this, they allow crime to flourish. Who does it hurt? Who does it hurt?
It hurts us.
No, it hurts mostly the black people.
No, it
No, it
really
hurts
does.
everybody.
It hurts everybody, but
Hurts
there's
every-
more crime in the black
Look.
community. Crime in the black community has
know,
gone
Black
up
on black
I
since
don't think-
Rollins got in.
I don't.
It has gone
I think
up.
we're barking up the wrong tree. The whole reason why I talked about racism is because we're turning around and the term is being used too loosely.
Right.
Far too loosely. You can't sit here and start taking and pointing to racial groups and
Quick-
you're making yourself a racist.
Quick question. Define that term. What does that word
I don't
mean?
know what it means.
What does the word
You know,
racist
I
mean?
really don't know
Let's
what it
get
means.
next week. Let's get the Webster's
Yeah.
definition.
I'll get
put
my
it up
Black's
there.
Law.
I'd love to.
And then maybe get the Wikipedia, which will destroy the real meaning.
Oh, the
Is there a
actual
legal
definitive
definition
answer.
of racist? Is there a legal one?
Yeah, it's in the Black's
it in
Dictionary.
Black's?
I've got Black's
How
Law.
about the pronouncement? We got a minute left. How about a pronouncement that I saw when I was trying to research, in which a black person said that black people cannot be racist? Do you agree with that?
No,
Of course.
absolutely not.
So anybody can be a racist, correct?
Well-
And you know what the most racist people in the world probably are? The Chinese. They don't let anybody in their country.
So
do they?
let me ask you a question about racism. When did the term emerge in society? Not our
On
society.
day
any.
one, Paul, when somebody saw that there was a redheaded guy and the other guy had blonde hair.
No, but I mean, so when did it become part of the United States lexicon? Was it over the discussion over slavery, or was it before that?
It was
I mean,
way before that. That's a European word.
We got to find out for next week.
you know what I mean? It's and I don't know these answers. I'm just asking because it seems to me
Whenever
that
you have a layered society, which is you have to have, you're going to have what is known as, we call it racism, call it oppression.
how
Call it
about
whatever you wanna call
pecking?
it.
How about pecking order?
Legally, what about
Pecking order,
hate
yeah.
crimes? Hate
That's part
crimes.
of
What's
it.
a hate crime? You know, what's a hate
By
crime?
the way,
How do you know it's a hate crime?
How do you know what's in somebody's mind?
So think
Democrats
about
will
all the
tell you.
elites in this country that consider themselves socialites. What does that mean? That they're at the top of the pecking
well, it
order,
just
right?
means that we have to go. That's what it means, because it's a wrap.
Good night and shalom, everybody. Please.
See you all next week.
Just be okay, everybody, please.